The highlights of the programme for me was getting the opportunity to meet people outside of the civil service organisation. So I'm a career civil servant, I've worked there 19 years, but this opportunity gave me the chance to meet other departments, local authority, charity organisations and future leaders from those areas, and really appreciate and understand the challenges they have, but also in some respect have some assurance that we all have the same challenges. And how do they tackle theirs, and how we can share some good practices and ideas from each other. So I've really valued that, and I've continued to value that in terms of continuing that network through the Action Learning Set programme. So that's what I've really valued. The other key highlight for me was the coaching service that was provided. I was going through, as we all do, a career journey in making some key decisions about what should be my next move. And it was really valuable to get some objective insight, as my coaches before have come from civil service backgrounds. But the coaches I had here were completely independent, objective, extremely supportive, and really opened me up to some other ideas that I wouldn't have thought of before. So those were the two key highlights. For me, the biggest difference was it was being delivered virtually. So all the development programs that I've been part of, I've always had the opportunity to have the face-to-face interaction straight away and build those relationships. But here, as we all had the challenges through the pandemic, most of the program was delivered virtually. And for me, I did have some anxiety about that, really worried, will I get the value I would have liked without having that physical interaction? But actually, it was surprisingly, it worked. It still worked. It still gave us an opportunity to, and the coaches get credit for this, the facilitators. They still created such an environment that we were able to be vulnerable with each other, even in our first session. And sometimes it's difficult to build that trust straight away, and to do that virtually was quite impressive. And I shared that at the first session we had. So I think for me, it's not having that fear of that virtual barrier, that you can still progress, you've still got opportunities to be developed. So I would say that was the biggest difference. Don't let having it delivered virtually be a barrier for you. It is an opportunity, it's a different way of doing it. But equally, what we did get the opportunity to do was, once the pandemic and the restrictions were removed, we did have a face-to-face event, and I think we valued that face-to-face event so much more because we'd spent over a year connecting with each other virtually. So it was like a celebration when we finally got together. I think in terms of the impact for the organisation, WIG itself brings a really positive reputation. So a lot of senior leaders or officials or line managers are open to giving you the opportunity to join WIG or have some exposure to WIG. As I think for me, the biggest thing this programme brought, and that will bring to the department, is really stretching my leadership skills. Because you always feel that you're getting closer to being the best leader you can be, but there's still things and dynamics that are thrown at you that you don't know how to manage or address. And at the time, again, the pandemic is a good example. At the time of the pandemic, we all had to refresh and re-energise our leadership skills and really focus on the humanity side, the empathy side, and not be so delivery focused. And I feel that WIG, and I think all these things happen for a reason. WIG was deferred for a few months because of the pandemic. When it finally happened, it came at the right time for me, because it helped shape me as a leader to deal with the challenges of what we were facing in our day-to-day roles, which was more about keeping our team engaged, making them feel valued virtually, supporting them through really difficult times. And how that helps the organisation is it's a bit of a no-brainer. If you've got people that come to work virtually that feel happy, that feel valued, then they give you more. And that's what WIG helped us do and shape. And the second key thing for me was it made me realise I need to be kind to myself. I was so thrown in, I need to support my team through these difficult times, I forgot about myself. And one thing WIG did was, and the coaches and the facilitators they ask the key question, well, what about you? How are you feeling? And without realising it, I'd realised I was burnt out. I needed time, I needed to think about my well-being. So that gave me the confidence to go back to my leaders and say, this is what I need from you to help me, rather than continuing to be the superwoman that I like to be. I'd say do it. I'd say don't think about it. Try and get that support from your line manager or senior leaders and just sign up for it. It gives you exposure to working with different colleagues across all different organisations and departments. You learn some really good practices, you make some fantastic networks, and you become an alumni member like I am today. So you get the opportunity to come to events and attend other leadership courses or attend conferences or have the mentoring program opened up to you. It just brings opportunity, opportunity, opportunity. So you'd be crazy not to sign up for it. I think for me, initially collaboration was all about creating an inclusive environment, giving everyone opportunity for their voices to be heard, to be present and listen to people, and not do what we all fall into the trap of doing because we're all busy in our work, cosmetic listening. Actually do listen to these people and make the changes that they feel that their voices are being heard. That's what box standard collaboration was for me. However, from my recent experiences, from the challenges, not only with the pandemic, but when we had the Black Lives Matter movement, and as the MOJ race champion, I realised the true value of collaboration during those significant challenges. Well, it was all about, it doesn't matter if I'm a permanent secretary or I'm a junior office member, these things are impacting everyone in the same way, and everyone needs to collectively get together, show empathy, support, and a willingness to learn from each other and make the changes that need to happen. And during those two challenges, it wasn't about I'm a senior official and I'm a junior grade. It was about your skills, your capabilities, what do you bring to the table, and what you can do to make a positive difference. So everyone felt that they were in it together. Everyone was going through the same journey, but dealing with it in a different way. But everyone wanted the end goal, whether it was a pandemic or more positive outcomes following as part of race action activities because of the Black Lives Matter movement. And the reason why I mention those two is because in the last couple of years, those have been sort of the seed change that created a real movement in the way people worked, the way people felt. And I think for me, that's where the true test of collaboration came. And that's where certain people surprised me, teams, individuals, everyone surprised me in that environment of, yeah, we do care and we want to change things and we want to make a difference and we need to be better at what we're doing. So I think that really showed true collaboration, and I hope that continues even as we've overcome the pandemic and other challenges. I hope that spirit of collaboration and in it together continues.